Hello, I'm David Chaston with 90 at 9, brought to you by interest.co.nz. This week, get everything you need to know in 90 seconds at 9 o'clock, with news economic stress is promoting political stress as governments pull back from cooperation. Firstly, in Australia, they've decided at a national level that all states except Western Australia will reopen their borders by late July, and the first foreign students will be allowed in from overseas. But the spat with China is a serious issue for them. There is rising alarm among universities and tourism operators in Australia that China's travel warnings for tourists and students are here to stay. The growing China-Australia hostility is a tricky dynamic for New Zealand. The one area China is not punishing Australia, however, is in its iron ore purchases, and the price they're paying just keeps on rising. Going the other way, India's industrial production shrank a record 55% in April, with manufacturing crashing a whopping 64%. In Japan, industrial production fell a sharp 15% year-on-year in April. It was an awful result. Business sentiment is now at an 11-year low there. In response, the Japanese government has enacted $32 trillion in extra stimulus. Again, more stimulus in Japan. Never ends. In England, they have posted a 20% drop in economic activity in April. It's a fall of historic proportions. Even in the Great Depression of the 1930s, GDP didn't fall more than 1% in 1 month. In the United States, Americans' view of their economy improved in June as the company tried to reopen. The latest survey of consumer sentiment rose in the past 2 weeks and was above what analysts were expecting. But the level that they're at is still very low, down 20% from this time last year. Fear of income loss is very high, however, driven by what might lie ahead in a second wave of the pandemic. And as each day passes, that fear is becoming more realistic. And the US Fed released their monetary policy report to Congress, giving more details of the fragile situation American households and businesses are in. A key message is that these vulnerabilities will be persistent. The US Treasury 10-year yield is a little higher today, bouncing off Friday's decline and up 5 basis points to 0.71. But that still means it's down 18 basis points in a week. And the gold price is a little changed from Friday, still at $1,732 an ounce. And oil prices are holding at Friday's level too. They're now just over $36 a barrel in the US, and the Brent benchmark is just on $39 a barrel. And the Kiwi dollar is slightly firmer this morning at 64.5 US cents. On the cross rates, we're still at 93.9 Australian cents, however, but against the euro, we're firmish at 57.3 euro cents. That means our trade-weighted index is marginally higher at 69.3, but that's 60 basis points lower than this time last week. I'm David Chaston. That was 90 at 9, brought to you by interest.co.nz.